Okay, so we are on it. We're getting on it. I'm basically on a few platforms here. Um, so all you got to do is post your guitar questions wherever you're watching from. I have a couple here that have come in already, so I'm going to get those going. But basically, if you have any questions, I'm leaving about 5 minutes to take in some questions here, and then we're going to get into the Q&A. So I'm afraid of playing more music through YouTube. So okay, so we'll let it roll for 5. Well, let's see if any comments come in. And main thing I'd say about questions is good afternoon. How are you doing? Main thing I'd say is there's no such thing as a ridiculous question. Like seriously, if you're wondering the question, think about all the guitar players around the world. Somebody else has that question, and oftentimes it's not known. So that's all I'll say there for a sec, and I'm just gonna check my mic here. Okay, cool. So we have a couple of questions that came in. One was about achieving a musical ear, like about knowing all the guitar chords but like knowing chord progressions as well, but not being able to like play along with songs unless there was sheet music in front of you. So I'm gonna answer that, and then we have another question around fingers touching the open strings, like moving from G to C. We had a question around seeing others change chords so easily and not even looking, and how can you do that on guitar. So there'll be a range of abilities and a range of topics going on. So basically, we'll see how we go for time. I've opened this up for an hour, and hey Pablo, how are you doing? Where are you tuning in from? And where's everybody watching from? If you want to post it in the comments, I'd be interested to see where everyone's coming in from. Right, so I think we're nearly there. I'll give it another 2 minutes, then we'll get going. Sunshine. Okay, I missed the music now. Hey there, Cara. How are you doing? Okay, I see a good few coming in. Best songs to start with finger picking. Excellent question. Thank you. Okay. That came from Pablo. Thanks, Pablo. Okay, perfect. Alrighty. Okay, so, right. Let's see. Any other comments? Let's do this here. Sunshine. So what's everybody playing at the minute? Like, what songs are you all learning? Are you doing skills? Heard some cool songs lately in our group in the shout out to anybody watching from the School of Guitar. We're talking about Salisbury Hill lately. That'll be class one to do. But yeah, what are you all playing? Let's see. Okay. Perfect. Alrighty, so let's get into it. So what I'm going to start with is the questions that came in first, right? So any other questions, keep them coming. I'll do my best to keep an eye to a Clash Royale stream. We'll see about that one. If I can do it on a guitar, I will. So basically, we got how to achieve a musical ear, that you know all guitar chords, but something about a chord progression doesn't feel right in a song. Okay, so what's happening with that question is that the player who asked this, I was talking with them, I think it was in DMs, and basically they were saying that they could play chords, like whatever chords, and this matches no matter what you're playing, and they had a really good reading ability to follow along with the chords. Now, the thing about this is the reading comes so easily that it's easy to lean in on more of that. Sometimes we can go so far down one path on guitar and we get so good at it that it isn't fun to go and do the other thing that we might suck at. So here's an example. I would have played mostly by ear in the beginning. I had a really strong ear. And then if something was put in front of me with sheet music that I didn't know how it went, I didn't know how it sounded, I couldn't play it, like, you know. So it was like, I'd often say it's like your kryptonite. So that was like kryptonite to me. I just couldn't. Superpower was ear, kryptonite this. So this is the other way around now. It's a player who has the chords, has the ability, but if they play by ear, it doesn't work. Now, here's what I'm going to suggest. The chords that you already have, let's say you have a couple of songs or a couple of chords that you're the best at. And what you could do is you could begin by looking up songs with the chords. So still look up the chords of the song. So you'd open up the song sheet on Ultimate Guitar and you'd go, okay, so it has G, C, D, E minor. That's perfect. Just go with chords that like you can change to in an instant. But what you do next is you put away the sheet. So now you've opened it for validation to go, well, let's say I know those chords are in it. But the temptation after that is to play using the chords. But that's where you got to put the sheet away and totally embrace making mistakes. Like, I mean, it'll be a mess, a total mess. What I did was I'd give myself the first chord. So if I was doing Brown Eyed Girl as an example, or you know what, Wonderful Tonight by Eric Clapton would be a really good one. Here's why. It's slow and there's long spaces between the chords. So if you're doing this on a song, pick songs where the chords are spaced out. So you have time to like play around and go, oh, that sounds rotten in this part. Oh, not too bad, you know. So that's the first step. So pick the song, make sure it's spaced out and slow. And here's a tip, you could Google like easy, slow guitar songs. And when you do that, what's happening is you can, Blackbird right now, what's happening is you could do that and move into it then much easier. So you found your easy song, you've looked up the chords, so you have a bit of an idea. It's kind of like a bit of a peek into the chords. And then you start to play. Now, Wonderful Tonight was the one I did it with. And like, I'd go like this. I'd be going like... No. And I'd pause the record and I'd put it back again. Like, when I say record, I mean CD. Nowadays it'll be Spotify. But... And I'd pause and I'd write it down. I had my pen with me. And I wrote, okay, it goes G, that's a D. And underneath the D, I had the C scratched out. I was like, C doesn't work there. And this sounds laborious and it sounds really drawn out. But the thing is, it's really about just building the skill. Because in the back of our minds, we'll go, but I'm a guitar player who can read really well. But I'm a guitar player who can play by ear really well. How come this is so hard? And it's having the patience and the persistence to keep going with it. So you have the easy song, you're taking it a bit at a time, a snippet at a time. I often say it is like, you know, where you'd be testing something to see if you like it. You're testing to see if you like your chords. Like, if there was a food that I wasn't sure if I was going to like or not, I wouldn't take a whole bunch of it at once. I'd go, okay, I'll have a little taste. Do I like it? Yes, I'll move on to the next bit. Your chord changes are the exact same with this. So you write it down and take it a bit at a time. And remember, it could take an hour to get a verse. And that's okay. Because the next verse will get easier to do. And the choruses will get easier. And you build this out over time and keep your list. I still write stuff like, you write Wonderful Tonight. And if you're a player out there and you're asking about how I do this, doing one verse of Wonderful Tonight and getting it by ear with the chords, that will have done more for your skills that day than maybe reading 10 Eric Clapton songs, because it's the ear training skill that you're asking about now. So that's what you want to double down on. So hope that helps. Find an easy song, look up the chords so you have a bit of an awareness of what's in it, but then put the chords away and then start getting down to work on the verse. And then when you feel like you have it, look at your answers. We had a maths book in school and we basically, the answer would be in the back and you would look to see, did you get the answer correct? All right, so give that a go and drop me a DM. You'll find me on Instagram, _School of Guitar. Give it a go. I'd suggest Wonderful Tonight. Even pick songs that you don't like, because that's still good for you. Alrighty, so the next question, and we see some comment in. Hey, what's up? I see Brenda's here. Nice one. Hey, Brenda, what's coming? Good. You're in from Texas. Welcome. William, how's it going? Yes, this will be posted later. 100%. This will be back up on YouTube later, and I'll share it in our group. Hey, Noel, how's it going? Sunny Dublin. Yes. Alrighty. Good to see some members in. Right. The next question that came in was from Andy, and it was around fingers on the open strings. Okay, so first of all, there's a chord change from G to C that I'll answer here. The thing about the C chord is, if you're on G, and I'll move back here a sec, if you're on G and you're having trouble getting to the C chord, a big reason for that is because oftentimes we'll go like this with our C getting it on. But if you were to train your fingers to put your ring finger on first for C, this takes time, but if you train your fingers, so you're on G, put the ring finger on first, then these two can hook on together. So now your C chord move, instead of being 1, 2, 3, or wobble, 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 it's ring finger, hook. I'll do that again. Top finger, hook. What I'd suggest for your practice routine is take your time with this. It's similar to the other question, like when you have something new to put into your practice routine, give it a day or two. And what you'll want to do is remember that in the beginning, you're going to be slower doing the change this way, but that wall that you're hitting in terms of speed of your change, it's going to be so much better once you get past it, and then you can get faster from there. No strumming, no singing and playing, nothing else. All you got to do is set 1 minute timers and go G, ring finger, that. G, ring finger, that. Alrighty, so that's the G to C change. And then fingers seem to always be touching the open strings. So the question here is around, yes, okay. So if your fingers seem to always be touching open strings when you're playing open chords, for example, G, the first thing I'd say is remember that not every finger position is created equal. So the finger position you have for E minor might be far different than how your fingers look for G. Here's an example. That's E minor. The key thing here is, I used to do a little thing in lessons years ago. I used to get a pen, and like, if you see here the way I'm hugging the neck like that, well, it's not going to come out. The open string isn't coming out. So I used to get a pen, put it underneath here, and the student would hold the pen, and then they'd get their hand there, and they'd have to clear the pen to press on the fretboard. And because of that, then you can hear it all comes out. Okay, so you can put the pin there until you get used to how the thumb position is as well. So that's one way to help with open strings not coming out on your chords. And it varies from chord to chord. If there's a specific chord that isn't coming out for you clearly, just pop a comment. I'll be happy to answer. Okay, next question is changing chords so easily. Yeah, okay, so yeah, seen others online who change chords easily, and it mightn't be happening for you yet. Okay, now the best tip I have for changing chords on guitar is to do around picking 2 chords and just going all in on those chords. I don't know, was it the Bruce Lee quote? I'm gonna butcher this quote. It was something like, he didn't fear the man who did 1,000 moves, but he feared the person who practiced the one move 1,000 times. Something like that. And to me, chord changes, it's so easy to be on YouTube and to look up tutorials and to be trying bits of this and bits of that. And there's nothing exciting about a YouTube video that says, hey, pick this chord and this chord, set a 1 minute timer and go between them and do that for like different reps. And when you do that, it's basically like you're just building the muscle memory. So whatever chord change you're having problems with, and I'd suggest we take it down from the mass generalization. Like, let's say there's chord changes, but then there's which specific chord change. So if you're doing G, C, E minor, D, that's a whole load of trouble. That's a whole load of problems. But if you go G to C and focus on that chord change for a day, doing it over and over and over, I mean, like going mad, like so much so that somebody could come into the room and go, is everything okay here? That you're going G to C. And then the next day, take the next chord change and go all in on that. Because the thing is, like, if you look at Ed Sheeran, he plays a ton of the same chords. All you got to do is do this once in your guitar journey and you'll have it forever. So that's what I suggest about chord changes. Now, I'm going to pause for a second and I'm just going to type in 1 or 2 more cool questions that came in. Okay. Okay, that's good. Let's see. Everybody join in. So taking questions here. Okay, cool. So see some familiar faces. Hey there. So the next question is chord changes while strumming. Okay, I have a video coming up on this soon, and the number one thing I'd say, and I was teaching it today in my lessons here, basically, if you're struggling with chord changes while you strum, again, there's the drill. Drill the change. Just pick the two chords, focus on the one chord change. If it's G to C, do that over and over and over again. Single strums like this. Just backing over. Okay? And what you want to do is do that so much that you'd be getting about 10 changes in a minute. So you'd go, there's one change, two change, 10 in a minute. If you get up to 15, we're going good. Because sometimes when it comes to chord changes with strumming, it isn't necessarily the chord change that's the problem. It's something going on with where we're coordinating our eyes. Here's what I mean. Check this out. This might look familiar for some of you. So if I'm going G, now watch where I'm looking. I'm looking at my chord, on my strum hand. Now notice the first thing that happened there. I'll do a Ace Ventura replay. Right, so G. Now watch. My eye movement. I went over here and I looked way too late. Do you ever do that thing where like you put a finger in front of your eye and it takes your eyes a second to focus in on it, or if a pen gets put in front of your eye? Well, if you look at a chord too late before you're changing, if you look at the fretboard too late before your chord change comes up, your eyes take a second to focus, and that second is worth everything in your chord changes. So, like, I often think of chord changes as Formula 1. Like, Formula 1, Olympic sports, like, milliseconds matter. So, we've G. Now, watch where I'm looking. I'm over here, like. So now I'm looking here, and the next trick is I'm going to visualize the next chord in advance. So if it's a C chord in this example, I'm going to move to, I can already picture it happening. And I just move that fraction sooner. Alright, so that's a bit about chord changes and strumming while chord changes. Give that a go, and by all means just send the questions in if you have anything else you need. Now, I'm going to check out the next one. Okay. Best songs to start with finger picking. Okay, this came in from Pablo. I saw it there. Okay, so Blackbird is mentioned, yeah. That's a nice one, yeah. I'm going to stop now because I don't know the rest as well. Okay, finger picking songs to start with. My favorite finger picking song to start with is Everybody Hurts by R.E.M. Sometimes I'd suggest starting with the song even if you don't necessarily like it all that much. The reason I think it's a good one to start with is because, again, you're on one chord for ages. It's an open chord, it's nothing crazy. And then you go to a G chord. Okay, that's the first reason. It's relatively slow, it contains open chords, and it has a nice finger picking pattern. And you want to do a finger picking song that has a pattern instead of one that has, like, if I go like, that is not the one to start with because it's all melodies and bass notes. So pick finger picking pattern ones. The other song that I like to do is House of the Rising Sun. Again, this one will be trickier than Everybody Hurts because it contains chord change, chord change, chord change, and it's faster, but we can slow it down. And then that's for complete songs. And then for like fun, like if you want to learn a snippet of a finger picking song, Nothing Else Matters is an obvious one. The There's only so far we'll get with that one though. It gets fairly crazy after that after a while. Okay, so those are some of the ones I'd suggest. And the other thing is like just to aim to complete them, because we get motivation on guitar by completing things. It'd be, the motivation isn't there so much if you've been playing a couple of months and you look back and you go, I kind of have a snippet of this one, a quarter of that song, I have a bit of this one and a bit of that. So yeah, so those are some things to watch with the finger picking songs. Alrighty. Why are power chords so hard? Alrighty, this one came in. It depends what song you're learning. That's what it comes down to. Like power chords themselves, let's just take out power chords and let's say power chord and let's decide on which one you're going to use. The one I'd suggest you learn first as a power chord is this one. Okay, or actually no, I'm going to say this one. Okay, because I'm going somewhere in a sec with this. So this is the A5 power chord. It's where you put your index on the fifth fret of E, ring finger on 7th fret of A. Okay, so that's an A5 power chord. The reason, and here's the thing, I get that like I explain things quite a bit versus just saying this is the answer, but the reason I do that is that if you know the thinking behind it, you can take the thinking and use the thinking yourself rather than me just give you one basic answer. Okay, so because this works for bar chords too. This is an A5 power chord and it's basically on the 5th fret up here. The reason that's a good one to start is because the frets are smaller. You can see both of them at once. Okay. In terms of power chord songs to learn, I love Queens of the Stone Age, Make It With Chew, it's called, Make It With You. It goes like this. Oh, I'm trying to remember it. It goes like this. It has 3 chords like that. Right? And for anybody who's been watching since the start, we spun a theme here, like few chords, long time on chords. Gives us loads of time to focus, which is good on guitar. Okay, so those positions there for any power chord players, that's 8 on E, 5 on E, and 7 on A. Alrighty, so if there's any Nirvana players out there, they're useful for that too. Now, that's the deal. So power chords, you gotta remove the, like, watch out for the whole power chords are easy, hear easy power chord songs on YouTube, because the reality is it depends for players. So because of that, start with Make It With You by Queens of the Stone Age, get those 3 power chord positions, one shape, and I'm not using my pinky, and just take your time with those. And the other thing too is just keep an eye. Sometimes we can think that one area of guitar is hard, but it's something else that's really going on. For example, sometimes with power chords, it's because we're strumming too loose. So if I'm going like this, and I hear extra stuff, I go there hard. So that is the answer with power chords. I'm just going to have a quick eye here on other questions. See. Hey Roy, how's it going? How are you doing? Alrighty. Class. Okay. Love seeing familiar names coming up here. Why are power chords so hard? Okay, we're good. I don't know, it's that one. I'll actually look that song up. Actually, thanks for saying. I was learning American Idiot. Ah, yeah. Okay, yeah, that's like, that's insane speed. Like versus. Right? I know there's way more boring. Like it wouldn't get the crowd going so much as. Okay, so that's part of it solved too. Now with that, here's the deal. There'll never come a good time for you to like wait to learn that song. So what I'd suggest is just take the movements. So if I was learning that, I forget about speed and I just go like this. Right? And what I do is I just frame that as a project. When I learned guitar first, I had songs that I was learning that I went, they're going to get these in no time. Then other ones I was like, this will take a while. Then others, I was like, I have no clue how long this is going to take, but what is it made of and how can I learn it better? And that's what I did. I basically so American Idiot here in this example, I just take the chord movements and just do them each on their own like that. So basically I'm doing downs and I'm drilling the changes, drilling the moves, conditioning my fingers. And it's only on that part. I'm not doing anything else with it. No singing, no playing, no solos, no nothing. Because the temptation can be we can keep moving to the next thing going. The next thing might be easier. And then we've bits and pieces. So yeah, give that a go. And I'll just check any other questions. Everybody, how are you all doing? Hey Andy, how are you doing? I answered your question earlier actually, if you want to check out the replay. Okay, so how are we doing on time? Any other questions, any side? Okay. Oh. Nice. Okay, great question, Noel. Is there a must-know guitar chord progression sequence? Yes, there is. What is it? So give me a second and I'll think. Yeah, so the way it works is the way it works is you basically have the main keys to learn first. So when you're in open chord land first on guitar, it's the key of G, the key of A would be okay, the key of C, the key of D. So I know you've asked about chord progressions and I'm talking keys, but if you learn keys on guitar, and a key is just a collection of chords that sound nice together, that's my unmusical explanation of it. So for example here, G, C, D are in the key of G. And that chord progression then, their numbers, and I won't get too in depth on this right now, like in a key, this is chord number 1, this is chord number 4, this is chord number 5. So what I do is I take a pen and paper and I write out 1, 4, 5, and then I'd look at all the different combos I do with them. So I'd go G, C, G, D. And by the way, Noel, I have this. I have a resource this summer. I'll share it in the community first. All right. Thanks for reminding me about it. But basically, yeah, you drill G, C, G, D. That'd be one you could do, and that's used in Bam Bam, Miss American Pie, drove the Chevy to the left. See what I mean? And then when you do your chord progressions, there's two benefits. One is the chord progression itself, that's a benefit. But also embedded in these is you've gotten quick going from G to C, G to D. So if the next chord progression was G, D, G, C, you have your work done. So that's what I'd say, you know. But in general, yeah, there's those major ones, and then you'd have that classic. I think we've all seen those ads. Learn a million songs with 4 chords. There's a bit more to it than that, but yeah. So yeah, there is 100%. So the ones I would focus on the most in terms of open chords, so chord progressions. I'll give you some explicit ones. So we've G, D, E minor, and C. That'd be one I would drill to the hills. It's used in a "Well, someone told me yesterday" by the Police. No Woman No Cry. No woman no cry. Using those. And then for like the key of D, it's the same movement of chords. So it's D, A, B minor, and G. Okay, you drill those, the same ones are going to work, right? Yeah, it'll just work. Like, I'll put it this way, watch if I rearrange them. It's hard to find catchy ones otherwise. That's used in Joe, the 1, 2, Prince is near before you. That's what I said now. Princess who adore you. Just go ahead now. So yeah, there's a couple. I'll share them in our group, all right? And for anybody who wants to join us, I'll share more in a while about that. But okay, so hey Brenda, what's up? How are you doing? Eric, thank you. Oh, cool, nice. Class, yeah. Teenage Dirtbag, yes. Alrighty. Bam Bam, you did that lesson. Okay, yeah, I did a lesson for that Ed Sheeran. That lesson took a day. glad to see you got use out of it. Hey Coleman, what is up? How are we doing? Okay, so that's cool, Teenage Dirtbag. Lovely, love that. Okay, so a question in from Eric: tips for learning to sing songs, to sing and play at the same time. Complicated rhythms like Bam Bam, and I don't know if you spot that video, Eric. I think I had cuts in it. I had problems singing and playing it, which shows that there's never a day where like you have everything sorted with your singing and playing. It's like there'll always be something. So a tip, um, the first thing I'd say, Eric, is separate them out completely. I was sharing a story today with the student, and I was just saying, I remember when I was younger, if there was trouble in our class, the teacher, like let's just say there's two students arguing at lunchtime, and the teacher would come in the middle of the two students and try and figure out what was going on. And the two students would be like talking, and the teacher wouldn't know. So what did the teacher do? Separate them out and go, what happened here? What happened here? And ask each of them for their version. And for singing and playing, if you're trying both at once, they're so jumbled. There's a million things going on, and it's really hard to sort it out. So you got to separate them out. And it sounds counterintuitive, right? What I'd suggest is separate out the playing and drill it. I mean, drill it, drill it, drill it, drill it. And keep in mind, you're not drilling it to be better at it, and you're not drilling it to get it. You're drilling it to get to a level that you don't need to think about it, and you can daydream, you can talk. That if somebody came into the room and you're going, and there's like, do you want a coffee? And you'd be like, yes please, that'd be good. Sorry, I forget the other chord. That you can suddenly take your focus off it and the hands are doing their thing. And how long does this take? It's a mystery. Just as long as it takes. So what I'd say is, like, this sounds mad, but like I would spend like periods of time playing that song. And this goes for anybody. If whatever you're learning to sing and play the chords on their own until you do not have to think about them. There's zero worries. You find it as easy as going between those two chords as you do between going from G and E minor, right? Which sounds ridiculous, but like it works. And then you gradually introduce the singing in on top. And similar to earlier, the thing I was saying about focusing on just one part and get that going first. Just focus on one part of the song. And I pick the easiest part that you find. Like I remember there was a crazy part in it, I don't even remember the chords now, before the chorus. So just take the easy part, drill it, and then to gradually start introducing singing and see how it's going. And I'd video yourself playing. The reason I say video yourself playing is because you can objectively look at how it's going rather than the first person view and the feeling of going, oh, I don't know what's going on, I'm too many things. Just video and watch. All right. I can't put a timeline on it for you, Eric. It's a project song. Yes, it's a project song for sure. Love it. Yeah, and even it's okay to have project verses and project choruses and stuff. Great question. Thanks. I love these questions. Any tip? Hey Rory, how are you doing? Any tips on figuring out how to sing and play? Some songs are easy enough, but others, yeah, are others emoji. Others are not. Okay. Yeah, 100%. So any tips for figuring out how to sing and play? Yeah, so Rory, that what I was sharing with Eric there, it'd be the very same. So whatever song, and for example, Zombie, I'll just say Zombie as an example. Um, Four chords, E minor, C, G, and D, and it's just a steady rhythm. So we've kept the chords easy, we've kept the rhythm easy, and you're going all downs. And it's a song that you would know, like everybody, think about this for a sec, right? Imagine if I gave some assignment on this Q&A and I said, hey, I found this obscure song from like Antarctica and we should all learn it. Well, what's the first thing you'd all have to do? You'll have to listen to it a ton. But think about songs now for a sec that you have heard over and over and over again that like literally you can't get it out of your head. And Rory, that's why I'm saying Zombie. Think about all the times over your life you would have heard it on the radio, you would have heard it on CDs, TV shows, online, wherever. Like, it has to be in the hundreds. It does. That's in there somewhere in your ears. So songs like that, okay. And for anybody who doesn't know, this has been nuts in the last week. I created like a list of 101 sing-along songs. Yeah, 101 sing-along songs for acoustic. So basically, if anyone want to grab it, it has the chords and lyrics, and there's songs that I've tried and tested at parties over the last 25 years. And trust me, there's nothing worse than bursting out a song at a party, and the second you start, you go, oh no, this isn't going down well. So these ones are the opposite of that. These work well. So if you want to grab it, just hop on over to my Instagram after this, or you'll see it on my TikTok or YouTube, wherever you're watching, and just watch a video. I say something like, comment the word songs, and I'll send you the list. So Rory, there might be some good ones in that for you. Now, what other questions have we got? Okay. Brilliant. Okay. Ah, yes. Okay, brilliant. So somebody said they downloaded the list, but the chords weren't in it. Okay, I updated that list. So if you got that list in the last week, or just about the last week, I added the chords and lyrics after. So yeah, just drop me a DM wherever you're watching, and I'll hook you up with the right version then. All right, cool. So question in from Andy: what is the story with the plectrum? When I use it, I find the upstrokes louder, but if I use my thumb and index in the pinch position, it seems better. Yeah, sure. So with strumming, another question came in about upstrums. Well, with upstrums, what I suggest is use the pick first. It can be nice to use fingers. It's tactile. It sounds gentle, but the thing about the fingers is that it doesn't have the tone. Like that song that Eric mentioned, the Bam Bam one. Like if I go like this, versus, just works way better. So use the pick. The second thing is for the upstrum. Here's the story. So when you strum up on guitar, you want to start to think about the arrows as different. And when I say think of the arrows as different on guitar, you want to think of a down strum, of course, we strum all the strings, like that. But then I'd like you to think about an up strum as sometimes we'll strum only the bottom 3 strings. And we'll keep it simple. I'm going to start with the down, 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 up, down rhythm like this. Right, so that's the first thing I'd say with that. Simple rhythm, 1 chord only. No song, no chord progressions, no singing, no speed. So. And the other thing is then, if I was to hand my pick over to you, if we're in a room right now here in my teaching room, and I was to hand this over to you, the thing is, like, you basically, it should be able to be grabbed out of your hand very easily. Okay, and the reason for that is it will flow down the strings better. So in terms of a practice item, what I'd recommend is take excuse me, take the one strum there, the down, 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 up, down, on a single chord you find easy, and just spend time looking at it and make sure that your wrist is relaxed and you're going down, up, down, okay? And watch for the up. And since the up is the problem, let's just say it's a problem, it's easy to tense up because like, oh, the problem bit is coming up here. Just relax through it, okay? Just let it flow like that. All right, so that's a little bit about the up strum, and the fingers will get sore if you're staying on one chord for ages, so rotate the chord, like use G's, use E minors, use C's. Hope this helps. Great question. Love these questions. Okay, let's just check. Anything else? Okay, we're going good. Cheers. Thanks, Eric. Thanks for that. Lovely. Yeah, it does help when they're singing on videos, definitely. Like, ah, if you're looking for tutorials on YouTube, like the main thing I'd say is look for a mix of styles of tutorials. Um, I won't be naming names of YouTubers, but like if you only learn off the one teacher, you're only going to learn the one style. I'm going to say one channel I think is amazing on YouTube. It's that guitar zero to hero. The way he has stuff laid out is really cool. Because you're getting the visual of the guitar, you're also getting the notes. That's huge. Like if you're only learning off channels that have no notes, no nothing, you get really good at copying music, but if written stuff is put in front of you, the gap there, similar to the question earlier about I can read no problem, but my ear is letting me down. Like this gap can build up unconsciously because we're so excited and making progress on guitar. And then we really have to like go, oh man, I feel like a beginner again at like doing reading from scratch, or I feel like a beginner doing ear training from scratch. But the trick with that is whatever thing that doesn't feel good to do on guitar, do a bit of that in your practice. The sort of sucky stuff, the stuff that you're like, oh man, this is a pain. I feel like I'm starting. But then get into the stuff that you do naturally and it feels really good. And that you finish the session going, yes, I'm a legend, right? Okay, so we're going good. Nice, great tip there from William as well. William shared there on YouTube just William watches a few covers and tutorials while learning a song. That's brilliant. Yeah, gives you such a great feel for it. And definitely like when you're looking up stuff online, try and immerse yourself in the song. I was a huge Van Halen fan growing up. By the way, keep the questions coming. We've 15 minutes. I'm here for an hour. And this is an experiment I'm running where I'm going live here weekly. So it's open for members inside my community and it's open for everybody here who follows as well. So if you're liking it, let me know. It lets me know to do more of this type of stuff. So when I was learning Van Halen, got into Van Halen, and I mean, I looked. Anybody here remember GeoCities? Anybody? Some of the older folk, come on. There's this old website builder on Yahoo called GeoCities, and whenever I'd an artist, I'd Google about the artist and I'd immerse myself in their world, what they learnt, the urban myths and tales around this artist, and the songs, the messages behind the songs. And what that does is it takes guitar from information to experience. And when it's experience, it's much more motivating and it leaves such a greater impact on your learning experience. So yeah, so like listen to the tutorials, but also check out the covers and look up other tutorials so you learn from others. And like, how would you say, different presentation methods of it. Okay, question. What do I think of pentatonic? Is there a band called No, there's a band called Pentatonics, but the scales Pentatonics I think are cool. So what sort of teaching answer is that? Sorry, I think they're cool. That doesn't help you. Right, so give me a second. I'm going to take a drink here. Okay, so pentatonics are class. pentatonics, for anybody who's unfamiliar, are these scales. I'll play one down here because... Okay, we're used to that traditional sounding scale though. But if I go like this, and you might recognize a famous song that uses that. I got sunshine. Right, get the idea? So that's a major pentatonic. So pentatonics are used a lot in pop. They're used a lot in solos, a hell of a lot in solos. And if we flip that, that was the major pentatonic that I just played. But there's a minor pentatonic that sounds like this. It goes... I'm thinking of songs currently to play. Yeah, I'll do this. That's how it sounds. That's what we get. Now, pentatonics are worth learning. One, because they're used in a ton of riffs. So if I do this, you know that one? Well, it can be two songs. You know that one? Let's see, singing and playing. I need to work on this. Okay. So I can do it up here though. Okay, so down here though. So those are just the notes from the pentatonic. Billie Jean contains 4 notes. Think about that. Michael Jackson took 4 notes and created a mega hit from it. But that whole scale, I'll play this one, another pentatonic. Play that funky music. I'm kind of cheating with this one, but I'll do it. That's Sunshine of Your Love. I added in 1 extra one for flavouring. But yeah, they're so worth learning. So I'd learn an open position and I look up easy pentatonic riffs. Now please ignore if you're looking up ones online and they say they're easy and you're disheartened because you're like, I don't find that easy. What's wrong with my playing? Look for slow ones. Look for ones where you've time and drill the scale before getting into the pentatonic riff. Because that way you can focus on technique. So that's the one. And in terms of one I'd learned first, I go A minor pentatonic. Okay, so that's a little bit about pentatonics. We got some questions here. Coolio. Okay. So we're down to the last 10. So I'm going to take these last 3 questions here. Thanks everybody for your questions. So the last 3 questions, I'm going to get on them now. Okay, cool. Okay. And by the way, before I answer these, for any who want to hop in, I have a monthly membership. Okay, so it's a community. It's only like $20 per month. What's that? 67 cents a day. And I go live with members once a week, and we have a Guitar Together call. So if you want to find out more about that, you'll find it in my profile wherever you're watching. So yeah, you're more than welcome. It's good crack. It's good fun. That's Irish for fun, by the way. It's good fun. I should use the word fun. And yeah, and it's great to see familiar faces on the call here this evening. So great to shout out to William, Noel, and Coleman hop in from the community. So great to have you all here. So William had a question. Ear training, yes. Okay, so when it comes to ear training, I'll do a general outline answer here for a sec. The big thing I found that helped my ears in the beginning was I started teaching after 5 years of playing. So I've been playing 25 years, teaching 20 of them. And I had a good ear in the beginning. I'll share more about that another time. I did violin without knowing how to read music a lot of the time. But basically, I used to listen to songs and I was obsessed with the guitar lines in the songs. So like to this day, lyrics and songs, I don't know much of them at all. Like literally, it's not great. But guitar lines and tone and things like that and chords, 100%. Now, here's a cheat code. Look up any song online, look up the name of the song, enter the word instrumental after it into YouTube, and you're going to find the song with the vocals removed. The vocals are always the loudest thing in a song. So all you got to do is listen to the instrumental and you'll suddenly hear a ton of stuff you didn't even know was in the song. I did this last week with students here, Living on a Prayer by Bon Jovi. Put it on and you're going to hear a ton of stuff when his vocals are removed. Okay, so but if you have more specific things around your training, William, post in the community. All right, I'll be in there after this. Okay, how do you play bar chords? Great question, George. Okay, so bar chords, again, one chord, pick one chord only. Don't go near a song at all, and treat the bar chord as a long-term project. And what you want to do is you want to do the project on the side, kind of like a side hustle, right? It's kind of like a side hustle, this bar chord thing. And you start with a G major bar chord. Okay. Now, George, I have, if you look up, just go onto my channel, The School of Guitar on YouTube, and search bar chords. I have 2 bar chord videos up there, like long form videos. Do you want to check those out? I have shorts as well, but they're more aimed if you have bar chords already. So the outline here is the G major bar chord is the best one to start with. F, it's too stretched down here. The frets are a bit smaller here. They're a bit closer to your eyes, so they work better. So that's what I do. Start with G, and in that video I outline completely how to make it. And again, it's a project. It's a side hustle. It's more of a long-term thing. And we got to remember that it's completely different to open chords. They're called bar chords. Sometimes we carry expectations that they're going to be as easy as open chords, but they're not. Like, they just take so much longer. So here's the trick then. I'd break the shape apart. So let's say it's a project. You have 6 strings. Well, if you were to get these 3 fingers here on an E chord and move them up 3 frets and be able to do this, congratulations, you have 3 strings working out of 6. So your project is 50% complete. Then you'd get your index on the top and put it up here. Okay, and a shout out, I have to give a shout out to Paul inside our community. Paul was like, he's working on bar chords as well, and he's not the only one. And we, like, players share videos of their progress updates. So, you know, these are the steps. So you do this, index goes there. So you get that working, George. Now you've like 4 out of 6 working. Don't know what the maths on that is, but is it 80%? No. Then finally you get working on this side of things. Just thought of that song. Nice one. So you get working on those 2. It's also using Teen Spirit. Then you start combining them all together. Bar chords are about muscle and they're about endurance and a bit of precision. So you're kind of balancing those out. Kind of like weightlifting. Like, you wouldn't be going to the gym trying to be lifting the heaviest weights or trying to lift them for so long. The muscles will give out eventually, no matter how long you've been at it. Bar chords are the same. So put in your practice routine. Just drill it. Once your hands get like sore, just take a break. Do some open chords. Remind yourself that you can play guitar, because bar chords, it's real like chipping away. So yeah, hope this helps, but get on them. Like, it's they're so worth learning. Okay, I'm just checking here. Brilliant. Get almost every note while barring except B. Yeah. In that case, George, look up this bar chord trick will save you hours on YouTube. It's called This Bar Chord Trick Will Save You Hours. It's a video I did. It's a short and it has, I think, 100 or 450,000 views. It talks about the B string. So check that out. Okay. Brilliant. Okay, I'm on the last question here. Excuse me. Okay, I'm just looking through here. Hey, nice job. Great job. See, Eric here saying he knows a bunch of chords, open barred and seventh chords. What's a good way to start learning scales and solos? What's the best way to start? Okay, so for this, Eric, a good way to start learning scales and solos. At this stage in your journey, what I do is, this sounds like cliche, but adopt a beginner's mind and just think, well, if I was learning guitar from scratch and I'd started learning with scales instead of chords, how would I go about it? And it would be about one scale, the way that one scale shape, the way there's one chord shape. It'd be about technique, how to position your fingers, the way same with the chord shape, and it'd be about playing the scale in time with the correct picking arrows, just like the way you'd learn a strum pattern with the chord shape. Okay, so that's how I'd start. I would start with an A minor pentatonic scale. So I just start with that, and I'd start with picking all downs first, because that way you can focus on your fingers. I have my thumb dropped behind the back of the guitar. Okay, and I'm noticing my fret positioning. And similar to what others said on the call, look up other videos of look up a few tutorials on the same scale. Okay? The reason for that is, and note how fast their fingers move. And note the positioning of the fingers, because we'll often go for the info. We'll go, oh, it's 5th fret on E, 8th fret on E, and I pick it here. And we often miss out on the nuances, which is the hand positioning of the teacher. And that's huge. My teacher had insane technique, like amazing technique. And this is back in the days before YouTube. So like I used to soak it up. I was like, I have 30 minutes. I have 30 minutes here. Sorry, 1 second. Cool. I used to be like, I have 30 minutes here in per week with this guy. I got to take in as much of his hand as visually possible to try and retain at home. It's crazy. But now with YouTube, you can look up everybody. So yeah, so that's what I'd say. Look up the hand positioning, A pentatonic minor scale. Forget about uses of it yet. Just spend a bit of time, a while, just drilling the scale the way you would have learned chords before going into like chord progressions and songs. Hope that helps. Alrighty. How are we doing? You're welcome. Welcome, George. Alrighty. Sorry, I'm losing track of the chat. Hey Jake, how are you doing? Thanks so much. Appreciate that. Lovely. Hey Brenda. Cheers. Alrighty. So we're nearly at the top of the hour. I want to say thanks a million. Like, this was the first time I haven't done a live on YouTube in 2 years, and I was going live inside my community once a month, and then I've moved this online, and then we do other calls inside the community. And for anybody who wants to find out more, all you gotta do is go to the link in my bio, and you'll see that there. So, for example, you're on Instagram. Just go to my profile and you see there's a link there if you want to find out more about the community and about what goes on there. We have a ton in there. The key thing with the community is I'm building it to be a place that gives the feel that you have a guitar teacher without you having to fork out a ton of cash each week for guitar lessons. And how that works is it's in its building stage, and I'm not going to build it to the moon. I'll tell you that much. Like, I don't have interest in having like an ocean of people I don't know, like inside a community. I'd rather get to know students. So we hop on calls. I'm in messages with students every day, asking how they're doing and checking in on their progress, and there's accountability and provide motivation. And I have to say, my favorite thing about it is the community members themselves. Like, I see some of you on here. They'll like community members are sharing tips with each other, helping each other out. And that's what it's about for me, like, just to bring guitar players together. So listen, if you want to find out more, you'll find the link there, and on TikTok it's in my bio. And you're welcome, William, and you're welcome, Eric, you're welcome, Brenda. And yeah, you'll find the link there. And if you're on the fence, if you're like, geez, I don't know, like, I might just learn off YouTube, or what else is it about, or you have questions if it's the right fit for you, I have a link on that page, and you can book a call if you want to hop on a 20-minute call. I can show you around and answer any questions. So if you want to check that out, you'll find the profile links on my main profile here. Alrighty, I think that's about it. Listen, I've really enjoyed this. Thanks so much, everybody, for joining. Leave me a comment afterwards. Let me know how you found it. And for those of you who want to hop into the community, I'll see you there because we have another call on Thursday. So look forward to that. All right, thanks for watching, everybody. I'm going to stop this one.